Good evening, cyber friends. It's Mitty Man coming back at you again from Walker's Music, and we thank God for life, health, and strength for as well as it is. We thank God for each and every one of you. You know who you are, all your cyber friends. We wanted to say we just come back right before we got to go out tonight again. In other words, it's the third night in a row. Had to go out, but that's the duty. Duty calls. Home church is on program at another church tonight. And therefore, that makes me have to travel along with the praise team, the choir, whatever you want to call them. But at any rate, and my topic says, when the church get through. When the church get through. I remember years ago, when Reverend, we call him Jerome Severson, we call him J.A. Severson. He's the pastor of now the Union Baptist Church in Albany, Georgia. Been pastor there for a long time, many years. And I can remember when I first joined the church over 40 years ago, he was preaching revival meeting at my home church. And he preached the revivals for several years after that. And I never will forget one of his sermons, and one of the topics were when the church get through. And we want to not make light of that, people, when we say church, because a lot of time now, people do not respect church at all. And it's because of the fact that not the church, not the institution per se, but it's some of us that makes up the body of Christ. The church has lost a lot of favor, and it has lost the respect of a lot of people in these latter days because of the way that some of us members of that particular institution, the way we behave and the way we carry ourselves. We do not walk Christ-like like we should. A lot of us are very judgmental. We are fault finder, and we just quick to throw people away. We forget how we once were, and we wanted everybody to have all the mercy and patience with us, but we don't have anybody else. That's the position of a lot of the church people. I should say church folk, not Christian, but church folk. But at any rate, we're not here to put down anyone, but we just saying I never will forget that sermon that Reverend Severson, he preached when the church get through. In other words, ain't no mountain gonna skip. It ain't gonna be the sun ain't gonna go down in blood, and the moon ain't gonna jump, and none of this until the church get through. In other words, he was trying to get us to see that we need to be about our business and kingdom building. And this is what I always say in my Bible study. It's all about kingdom building. Excuse me. It's never about Mitty Man, but it's all about Christ. And we need to get back to the basic, people. And I'm telling you, because, see, Jesus said himself, when this gospel shall have been preached throughout the earth for a witness unto all, then shall the end come. Ain't that the church? The church will be through then. We won't need the church anymore after that. After this gospel has been preached. This is the job of the church, every believer. This is the job that we proclaim the gospel to every living creature, to everybody we meet. You never know. Do we do the work of an evangelist? Sometimes I wonder. A lot of times we're thinking and doing everything but evangelizing. We're not doing the work of an evangelist, which we were commanded to do. So, as in the spirit of our favorite pastor of mine, Reverend J.A. Severson, I'm going to say it again. None of this stuff that you're reading about, none of this stuff that you're hearing about on YouTube and BlueTube and none other tube for that matter, none of this stuff is going to happen until the church get through. Now, what I mean, I'm going to explain. I'm talking about the real institution. When blood-bought, spirit-filled believers do what Jesus told us to do. When that happens, and when this gospel be published throughout the earth, everyone got to hear the gospel, people. To get the choice. You got a choice. It's free will. Like I tell you, no one goes to hell blindfolded. It's going to be free will. Everybody's going to have a chance to hear the true gospel. And then you're going to make a decision. And people, it's time to make that decision. Time is drawing near. But none of this stuff, don't worry about the blood moon. Don't worry about none of that yet. But believe it's going to happen now. I do believe that's going to happen. That's been predicted by NASA. And those things are going to take place. I believe that. I'm not speaking about the authenticity of those things like the eclipse and the sun and moon eclipse and all that. No, those things are facts, people. Those eclipses happen. They happen just on those dates that they've been foretold and been spoken of by the various people in our time, like John Hagee. This research has been done. I looked at it myself. According to NASA, these eclipse, the blood moon will happen. But what I'm saying is, I'm not arguing against that. I'm saying that when the church gets through, we need to be about our business. And when all of this stuff going to happen, the Jerusalem going to be trodden down, all the Gentiles, until the time the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's almost done. Psalm 83 is closer than we think. That's World War III, people, whether you know it or not. Not Armageddon. That's World War III. That's a different war. But none of this, all of this, but with the summation of it all, the final climax, the church got to get through. So in honor of the Pastor Reverend J. Severson, we're going to say we thank him for that message years ago, so many years ago. But when the church get through, then shall the end come. This is Mitty Man saying peace, goodbye.